She told people that saying her name put them under contract, that she could bill them for it, that a piece of paper made it law. A Walker County jury just disagreed on all 4 counts. Today, she is a convicted felon with a 10-year sentence, and the only paper that matters now is a judgment. I'm Dorian Russell. Let's separate the records from the noise. Quick ground rule before we start, because it's the whole point of this On the Record series. Every claim gets graded by how hard the proof is. Court record, filing caption, or just reported. I'll tell you which is which as we go, because that's the difference between a true verification method and just another rumor with good lighting. First, who we're talking about here, because the name keeps changing. The court paper has settled on Madyson Ray Hendricks for the criminal case, but a 2024 civil suit lists her 5 ways at once: Massili, Hendricks, Marquette, Stacy Dawn Williams, and Faith DeLuca. 1 person, 5 names on the filing. Here's the firmest thing in the whole story, and it's no longer a charge, it's a verdict. On April 16, 2026, a Walker County jury convicted Madyson Ray Hendricks on 4 counts of retaliation. The judge sentenced her the same day, 10 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice on each count, running at the same time, with 273 days of credit for time already served. 4 counts, convicted, 10 years. That isn't reported, that's the judgment. And watch how the charges shifted on the record. The August habeas order referenced 3 charges, but the trial record is more specific. After a superseding indictment and 2 amendments, she went to the jury on 4 counts of retaliation under Penal Code Section 36.06. How the original fraudulent filing and harassment labels became 4 retaliation counts is something the indictments spell out and the docket summary doesn't, so I'm holding that detail open until I read them. Strip off the common law language, and this is the old sovereign citizen lien trick. The pitch goes like this: use her name, and you've supposedly signed a self-executing contract under her personal fee schedule. She counts the uses, sends a bill, and then files a UCC1 against you to make it look like a real debt secured by your property. Now, a UCC1 is a real thing. It's how an actual lender publicly claims your collateral and warns off other creditors, which is exactly why faking one is a crime. You're hijacking a legitimate credit system to cloud somebody's name. Texas was so tired of this that lawmakers passed a 2025 bill just to make these bogus filings easier to scrub. Follow the chain. A Bexar County jury convicted a man named Mark Anthony Massili of 3 counts of aggravated sexual assault of a child. An appeals court affirmed all 3 convictions in March 2025. That's not my characterization, that's the language of the opinion. And this is where Madyson inserts herself. Reporting says she claims to be married to him. While his appeal was pending in March 2024, the Bexar County District Clerk got certified mail from her, a document she styled as a notice. She positioned herself as his attorney in fact and started pressing the prison system to let him out. When the prison officials, the warden, the executive director, the chief financial officer of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice didn't spring her husband, here's the reported next move. She counted how many times her name showed up in the emails, billed them for it under her fee schedule, and filed UCC1 liens against them. That's the moment the paperwork becomes a felony. Texas law makes it a 3rd-degree felony to go after someone in retaliation for doing their job as a public servant. Filing fake liens against the exact officials who wouldn't free her husband fit that statute, and a jury just convicted her on 4 counts of it. One thing before we keep going. The child in the Bexar County case stays out of this video completely. The conviction and the life sentence are the facts that matter. The details of what Mark Anthony Masilli did are not mine to replay here, and they're not what this story is about. This story is about Madyson's conduct, not a retelling of his. And to be fair to the record, she has now been convicted in the Walker County case and has filed an appeal, so the conviction isn't final yet. Everything I've tagged Tier 3 is still exactly that, reported, not yet matched to a primary document. If this playbook sounds practiced, that's because there was a rehearsal. Before the prison officials, there was a neighbor. In Guadalupe County, a couple named Guzman sued her, and the county's own docket tells the story. She dodged service. The first citation came back unserved. The court hit her with a temporary injunction, and the case was decided on summary judgment on October 1st, 2024. And here's the tell. Right there on the court's record are her own filings. A declaration of expression of trust, directive to trustee, and a verified affidavit of facts by specific negative averment. That is the sovereign citizen script, word for word, filed into a real lawsuit. Now, the dollar figures everyone repeats, around $37,000, 5 liens nullified, those aren't on the docket page. They're inside the signed judgment, which I haven't pulled yet, so I'm keeping the numbers flagged. But here's a correction worth making out loud. The story that the neighbors will never see a dime doesn't hold. In April of 2026, the court signed a turnover order. They're collecting. So here's what it actually adds up to. 4 counts of retaliation, convicted. 10 years in TDCJ on each. But the court ran them concurrently at the same time. So the real number is 10 years, not 40. 273 days of credit and a financial assessment of just over $40,000. And one point worth being precise about, 10 years on each count sounds like it could stack into something much longer, but it doesn't. The court ran the counts together, concurrently. 10 years is the number, and the appeal is the only thing that can move it now. And the docket hasn't gone quiet since. In June, a bench warrant issued. The docket doesn't say why, and I won't guess for it. And on June 22nd, the court held a hearing on the appeal with a waiver filed the same day. The appeal is live and moving. One more thing, because it landed while I was checking the record for this video. The statewide court index shows a second civil lawsuit against her, open right now. 2 plaintiffs, Aurora Perez and Matthew Ottaway, filed in Travis County in August 2025, with a setting on the calendar for July 23rd. What it alleges, I don't know yet. The petition isn't viewable through the index, and in this series we don't narrate documents we haven't read. The case existing is Tier 1. Everything inside it stays open until I pull the file. Here's the whole thing without the costume. Fake liens, a convicted sex offender she tried to free, and officials she billed for the crime of doing their jobs. The name as a contract theory was never magic. It was just a way to turn a grudge into a filing, and a Walker County jury just decided those filings were felonies. 10 years worth. I'll update this if the appeal changes anything, when the Travis County suit shows its hand after July 23rd. And when the signed civil judgment and the charging instruments come out, I'll move every claim up or down the tiers the second the document lands. The record doesn't care about the brand. That's why we read it. I'm Dorian Russell. Check the receipts.